In this video, I will be giving you a guide on IPA. It'll be way more information than you'd need to know, but if you struggle with awkward conversations down the pub, this video may be for you, or you might end up being another annoying IPA drinker. Anyway, grab yourself an IPA and enjoy the video. IPA was first introduced in the 18th century. It was made to survive long journeys from London, England to the east coast of India. In fact, IPA actually stands for India Pale Ale, which is quite confusing in today's world because it was never made in India and is now being made all over the world. Commonly, you may see it a lot in Britain and the USA, thanks to the very popular choice of hops that you see in America. In fact, America is actually partially responsible for the up-and-coming IPAs due to their hops like Cascade and Citra. So what is IPA? So basically, the most easiest way to describe what IPA is it is literally pale ale with hops added to it. Now, a lot of pale ales already have hops added to it, but the main difference between IPA and pale ale is, well, IPA would be more focused on the flavouring from the hops, while pale ale will be more focused on the flavouring of the malts that is used. Hops are cone-shaped flowers that are grown on a vine, and they play a huge role in the brewing of IPA. These flowers play two roles. First, they help preserve the beer, and secondly, the acids in the oils bring out bitterness and sweetness to the beer. There are roughly 147 varieties of hops out there, all with their own flavours and aromas. In the 18th century, hops were used as a preservative, and they became very favourable for preserving beer back in the day where there was no way of sanitation. In the 18th century, Britain was growing fast. The British Empire was reaching all parts of the world. Thanks to their friends, the East India Trading Company, they were profiting quite nicely from it as well. In 1757, the East India Trading Company conquered a huge part of India. Not only was the East India Trading Company the biggest trading company in the world, they had a monopoly on the trade that was going on in the British Empire. And they also had a huge private military. At one stage, at their peak, it was twice the size of the British Empire's. The large presence that the East India Trading Company had in India was a big reason why they started shipping IPA to the country. It was a morale boost and it was safe to drink thanks to their hops. In today's world, the IPA that we get now is most likely going to be very different to the IPA that they would have had back in the 18th century due to the fact that we have got better sanitation, better storage, better hygiene, and also many other factors such as the way that they brewed the IPA, and also the fact that when shipping from Britain to India, they would be shipped in oak barrels, which would mean that they would go through another stage of fermentation, as you like, almost like how whiskey is matured in oak barrels to get that kind of flavour. The IPA would have, through those 160 days, they would have had some sort of flavouring added to it due to the oak barrels. But it doesn't mean that there aren't IPAs out there that are quite close to what we would have got back in the 18th century. There are 9 major IPA types and more, because IPA doesn't have any kind of limitation. In all honesty, it's even hard to categorize an IPA to a specific type because they're so different in their own way. It is totally up to the brewer how they want to make their IPA. So 5 of the most common types of IPA you'll get. The English IPA is probably the closest IPA you'd get, which uses traditional British yeast and British hops. You then have the West Coast IPA, which is where they use American hops like sea hops, Cascade and Citra. These can give quite piney and earthy notes and also quite bitter at the same time. You also have East Coast IPA, which is quite a new IPA, also known as New England IPA, which uses a more complex mutated yeast. This yeast, it ferments the sugars and can bring out flavours such as banana and tropical fruits. You may see many East Coast IPAs as very hazy and cloudy IPAs. You then have the double IPA, also known as the Imperial IPA, And this is basically IPA with double the hops. In fact, you've even got triple IPA, where they use triple the hops. Typically, double IPA will be much stronger due to the fact that although they'll be adding extra hops, which doesn't increase the alcohol content, they will counteract the bitterness from the hops using more malts. And last and not least, which I'll be talking about in this video, is the session IPA, which is one of the most common IPAs, which you'll see all over the pubs. You've got like Brewdog do session IPAs. You've got Neck Oil, one of my personal favourites, which is basically IPA that isn't as strong as other IPAs. The fact that it isn't so strong basically gives it its name session IPA, because you can have it in a drinking session and you can have more of it. Now, although session IPAs don't really go any higher than 5%, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have much flavouring, because as I said, the hops do not determine how strong the beer will be. So although they may have less alcohol, they can still have quite a strong flavour to it. We're now at the end of the video. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this video and you've got a better understanding of what IPA is. In the next video, I'll be talking to you about how to choose the right IPA for you. Talk about more styles of IPA, all 9, and what to look out for the cans to help you understand whether or not that IPA is right for you. If you find my content interesting and you'd like to know more about the fine things in life, like IPAs and spirits, then please consider subscribe and like the video to let me know if I'm doing the right thing. See you next video. Bye.